the Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. This is a living treaty. It's signed by 73 countries, and it became actual international law in 2017. These are the signatories right here. You'll notice something about who is and who isn't a signatory. The Global South seems to be pretty on board, and NATO and there's 9 countries that have nuclear weapons right now. All 9 of the nuclear-powered countries and their allies are not on board. I decided to do this just if the United States was signing, then you would get NATO, you would get Russia, you would get China, you would get Iran, you would get so here's what that would look like if the United States signed it. I didn't have time to color all the Canadian islands in. So, let's see here. Oh yeah. So that's the hopeful thing. There is an actual international paradigm that's living law that is our way out.
And the campaign. I mean, there is people working on this.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody in the world, and especially in the Global South, is interested in not having a nuclear holocaust, right? I'll talk a little bit about the nuclear triad, which is kind of the basis of well, first of all, is everyone aware that we're in the middle of this nuclear weapons revitalization upgrade program? Modernization, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, it's hard to even pin down what bill that was passed in. It happened sometime in 2015-16 on Obama's watch. Some people say he was kind of between a rock and a hard place. He wanted to negotiate the START treaties to decrease the amount of weapons in the stockpile, and this was the kind of tit for tat. But it's hard to say. So the nuclear triad is kind of the foundation of our weapons policy. It is ICBMs in missile silos, mostly in the Midwest, Montana and North Dakota, places like that. And we have 450 of them. Nuclear submarines, we have 18 right now. We have 18 right now, nuclear submarines. And aircraft, which can drop bombs. That's a Cold War era idea, and it's amazing how much staying power it's had, because it strategically doesn't make, like, initially the ICBMs were to get a first strike on our opponents, and then over time they'd become a sponge to absorb nuclear weapons in the event of an exchange. So that they will tweak the strategy, but the main components stay in place. It's kind of a moving goalpost kind of thing.
And what does ICBM stand for again?
Intercontinental ballistic missile. That's where the button really comes into play. Those can be launched at the push of a button, essentially, and we have 450 of them. And again, we're not talking about Hiroshima, Nagasaki era weapons in the 25 kiloton range. We're talking about thermonuclear warheads in the 400 plus kiloton range potentially. 20 times as powerful, up to. So the whole nuclear triad's getting upgraded. They're replacing all the Minuteman missiles with these Sentinel missiles. Just the price of the Sentinel missiles is, at latest check, $140 billion. All these figures go up over time because of inflation and because of cost overruns. They are going to replace all the Columbia-class submarines with Ohio-class submarines. They're building 12 of them as we speak. That program costs $130 billion. And the B-52 bomber is going to be replaced by... B-52 is going to be upgraded, and B-2 bombers, the stealth bomber, is going to be replaced by the B-21. We have no idea what that costs. It's classified how many they're making. It's classified what the program costs are. The military's given us a figure of $750 million a plane. Who knows? I find that staggering. We have no idea what they're even spending on this stuff. The idea of like a budget that's accountable to citizens is completely gone.